Will MJF actually leave AEW? Or is it just a big work? Because there's new reports are saying that he might actually leave, which is surprising. Welcome to the WrestleTalk Podcast, the Friday episode of the WrestleTalk Podcast. It's me and Andy today, which was not the plan. It was supposed to be Team Danuke, like normal. Luke and Denise, but Luke had a family emergency that he had to go take care of. We're told that everything is okay on that front, so that's good. But he's not available for the show. And then it was going to be me and Denise, Team Panisse. Everyone loves that. Everyone loves a little bit of Team Panisse reunion. But then Denise had a flight to catch, so she couldn't do the show either. So now it's me and Andy.
Not to dunk on Denise, but surely she knew that before this morning.
Well, I don't know. You know, because she's a very busy woman. So I don't know if something just comes up and it's just like, well, I need to get on a flight now, you know?
She is a busy woman, but simply due to her behavior last week on this podcast, I think we can dunk on her as many times as humanly possible. I felt, watching that show, I felt so sorry for poor Adam, who was just trying to have a conversation, and Denise was just not having any of it. She woke up on the wrong... apparently she woke up upside down. She was... I don't know what she had taken or had for breakfast. And it was one of the worst things I've ever watched. But
nice.
We are here now to restore order. I look
balance to the world.
I look quite a lot like Denise, so I think we can do that. We've both got big heads. So I think we're going to be good, and I will fully I will fully cooperate on the actual thing we're supposed to be talking about.
Well, before we actually talk about it, first, send in your Ultrachats at WrestleTalk.com/support. Also, click the link in the description for the digital copy of the WrestleTalk Magazine, which you can get for just £1. It's a really good deal. Also, I just wanted to say that obviously everyone who does the Friday show has a team name, because you have Team Danuke, you have Team Panisse, you have Team Dam. That was the thing. You had Team whatever Luke and Tempest are. Doesn't matter. I didn't have one in mind, and then moderator and image gatherer helper extraordinaire Brandon suggested that we should be called Team Chatson, which I think I hate.
Why Chatson? Because you're Chopper.
Chopper and Datson would be Team Chatson, which I think I hate more than anything.
Yeah, I mean... Yeah, I don't like that. I mean, so your name is Quinnell. And I'm really slim, so we could be Team Quim.
I hate all of that as well. I hate that more than Chatson, I'll be honest.
Team Chatson Quim.
That's...
Oh, no. I mean, the chat is suggesting Pandy, which is incredibly unimaginative. But
it is. But
I mean, last week they just said Dandy, but luckily Andy is quite a good suffix for a lot of words. So with my partner, it's Mandy. With Luke, it was Landy.
Landy, yeah. I mean, the alternative would just be putting A and then combining it with Pete, so it would be a Pete, or it would be a Eat, which just doesn't work.
What's your middle name?
No, I'm going to say that on air. What are you, crazy?
What is it? Is it Charles?
I'm not going to dox myself like that, you crazy person.
I feel like it's... I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's Butthole.
No, you got it. Nailed it in one.
Okay, that's fine. Because I was going to say, because if I got it wrong, you'd have to correct me and say what it actually is.
Yeah. Also, as John has pointed out in the chat, Chatson Quim is the next NXT wrestler name, which... Yeah.
I mean, they've already got Zion Quinn, so...
Anyway, we should talk about what we're supposed to be talking about on this show, because that's what happened last week, where they didn't talk about the thing they were supposed to talk about. We're going to be talking about MJF on this show, because there was a couple of reports at the end of March, beginning of April, of MJF getting into a little bit of a dispute with Tony Khan. There was apparently a heated discussion. This is courtesy of Fightful Select. So there was a heated discussion with MJF talking about his contract status. He went and did an interview with Ariel Helwani. Tony Khan was upset because he didn't get it approved through AEW PR beforehand. And MJF is upset because of his contract situation, saying that there was a lot of people that have come in after he joined the company, because he's one of the AEW originals, and they're earning more money than he is. And he was apparently upset about that. No.
Yeah.
No.
Anyway, carry on.
Not that. It's great audio content. It's going to be no context for what.
Assholler. Anyway, go on.
Hate all of this discussion. So there was the conflict on both sides. There was a heated discussion apparently, and then there was a second conversation which apparently was a lot smoother. A lot of the tension got kind of sorted. But though MJF was still kind of frustrated about his contract status. But we hadn't really heard anything since then of any more frustrations or anything until now, because there's a new report from Fightful Select. So I'm going to do a couple of quotes here. Obviously saying they talked about the heated discussion before, and through this one, the sentiment hasn't necessarily lasted with MJF. Fightful has heard that MJF's sentiments about possibly going to WWE when his contract is up are not in character, and it's a subject he's already weighed. There has been at least some progress on his future in AEW, and we're told there have been open-ended mentions about him possibly gaining an extension. However, many don't believe that MJF and Tony Khan are as close as they were prior to the reported discussion. Now, the next sentence is really, really important. MJF is said to be leaning towards leaving AEW as of now when his deal is up. Now, this is something that MJF has talked about as a character beat for ages on TV, talking about his contract expiring in 2024 and how he's going to be leaving to WWE and all that stuff. So now it's saying that actually this isn't in character at all. This is him legitimately possibly leaving AEW. Andy, do you think he's going to leave AEW?
I don't care. No. So
all right, Denise.
No, I don't think he is. I don't think he is. So presumably everything he says on TV is I mean, it's approved. I mean, I know some people have a lot of creative control, but you would assume that what he says on TV is, while he is very good at making it sound like it's coming just completely randomly, you know, it feels like it probably is still approved backstage somewhere. Now, the fact that he keeps going on about it, and like saying, I'm going to leave, is all well and good, but 2024 is 2 years away currently. And I can't see, unless he does something very, very stupid, I can't see them releasing him before that time. So you've got 2 years where either he becomes such a big star in AEW that WWE get in contact and say, look, we will give you so much money if you join us, which is an absolute possibility. Or he becomes such a big star in AEW that Tony Khan goes, well, we literally cannot afford to lose this guy. Here is all of our money. Now, I've read that it slightly depends on the sort of TV deal that AEW gets in 2024 because the contract is up in the same year. So that could have sort of ramifications, but I don't know. I don't think so. Personally, I think he will become too valuable, and a year, maybe 6 months before the end of his contract, AEW will do its utmost to keep him signed, because there are very few wrestlers like him in the world. If any, because yes, while he is not the greatest wrestler, like in-ring wrestler, he's a very good wrestler, and it's very rare that you get a very good wrestler and combine that with someone who can talk like him. Like often you get good wrestler, bad talker, good talker, bad wrestler. So, and especially to the extent which he can do it. So I really don't. I think he is indispensable, and almost more so than Cody, I think this would be a bigger get for WWE, because this is an AEW guy who was sort of known before AEW, but really since going into AEW, he has become one of their most popular stars, one of their most hated stars, but in a good way. So because he's never been to WWE, and he has no history there. He's still only 26. I think it is a much bigger get for WWE than actually bringing Cody back in.
I think there's a lot to that. I think that for my count, I don't believe this for a second. I don't believe for a second that MJF is leaving AEW. And I know that I would have said that about Cody as well. In fact, I did say that about Cody. That was like, there's no way he's going to leave and go back to WWE. And then he did. So anything is technically possible. But this, to me, feels like this is one of the best worked stories that they could tell. Yeah. Because this fits MJF's character too well, I think. And when it comes around to 2024, MJF will take some time away from AEW, and there will be reports that his contract expired and he hasn't re-signed, and he'll show up like 2 months later, and everyone will be like, "Oh my god, it's MJF!"
Are you saying that Sean's been worked on Fightful Select?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Or at the very least, Sean is not refuting the work. Whether he knows it's a work or not, I don't know. But I don't think he would actively try and prove that it's not a work. Whether if he's like on the fence or if it is or not.
Conspiracy theorist Pete Quinnell.
I've already got a hat. Just pretend it's tinfoil.
But so like with Cody, the Cody Rhodes character is a WWE character. Like, yes. It works in WWE because it is what it is. And that is part of the reason it didn't work in AEW was because his sort of over the top, I'm the world's biggest babyface doesn't work in AEW for me. But it does work brilliantly in WWE because that is the kind of character they love to portray. MJF, I don't think would work in WWE. Yes, he'd probably still cut brilliant promos. But as his character as it is now, I don't think it works nearly as well in WWE. And I think he wouldn't be allowed to say nearly as much as he'd be allowed to say as he is allowed to say now. You would never get him in a WWE ring saying things like, "Oh, I'm probably going to leave actually and go off to AEW." So, and that is part of his weird charm, is that you just don't know what he's going to say next. But in WWE, I feel like you could guess what he's going to say next because there's every chance that he just becomes you people.
Yeah, 100%. And that could totally be what happens. I think that the difference between Cody going back and if MJF went over is that MJF is a young star. And that is something that WWE is sorely lacking right now because they have Theory. Yeah. And that's about it. That's like their young stars on the main roster. So getting someone that's like MJF, because he'll be 28 when his contract expires, right? Which is still a pretty young star. For someone who is so well known and such an integral and popular star in the wrestling community, being able to get your hands on someone like that would be a huge get for WWE. But like you say, I don't know if he would work in WWE because a lot of his it's not necessarily fourth wall breaking, but a lot of his charisma and what connects him to the fans is what his personality and his attitude towards certain things, which he would not be given the liberty of in WWE, in the fact that he can be so obnoxious all the time and being given the time to be that obnoxious, that would be replaced with local sports team heat in WWE. And it just wouldn't have the same sort of connection. He would be a superficial character rather than an actually deep emotional character that he is in AEW, as we've seen through the likes of like the CM Punk feud, for example.
I think there would be every chance that within 2 months he is the Miz 2.0. So he is
not 2.0. You can't have that. Jesus,
sorry,
that's taken.
He is cutting good promos, perfectly reasonable promos, but really he is the fall guy, and he is being being an idiot so that he can lose. I know that MJF lost at the last pay-per-view, and I know that he's almost certainly going to lose to Wardlow when they have their eventual match, unless they're going in a different direction, but I can't see that happening. But the charm with MJF is that, yes, he's an asshole, but often he will back it up by winning. Whether that's by cheating with the diamond ring or whatever it is, he often wins. In fact, he wins way more often than he loses. And that's a good heel. Whereas in WWE, heels who talk a lot tend to be fodder for baby faces who go, you were mean, but I can beat you at wrestling. And then he would come in and they'd change his name. He'd be Maxwell or Max or I don't know, what's a worse acronym? I don't know. It would be a stupid name. Friedman. There you go. And I just think he'd be the Miz. I don't think that's anything. I don't want to see that. Like he is too good to be the Miz, and I really like the Miz. I often like as a character. I think the Miz has done very well for himself, but I don't want to see MJF turn into the Miz, and especially because he's not the world's tallest guy, so he hasn't really got that going for him in the WWE sort of thing. He's not like, he's obviously very well built, but he's not like ripped to shreds. So you need to. If I was him, which I'm not, and he knows himself better than anyone, I would stay where I am.
Yeah, I think for me, I think he's so inextricably linked with AEW. And again, I know I said that about Cody, but I think that he fits AEW so perfectly. His relationship with the company and how he fits in the dynamic of AEW fits so perfectly that I can't see him anywhere else. And the fact that it seems like the issue that MJF currently has, according to the reports, the issue that MJF has is money, not really anything else. The fact that he's been treated so well in AEW, the fact that he's always in high-profile feuds, putting on banging matches, being able to have that level of creative, not control, but creative freedom to put on the storylines they want to do and consistently put on like the best storyline that the company has going at any one time will probably be involving MJF. The fact that he can keep that all the way through, I think that one, AEW would be fools to throw that away, and MJF would be a fool to throw that away. I think if it's just a money issue, just pay the man what he wants, because why would you give that up?
Yeah, I mean, so I think the report is that basically he is on the money that he signed for, but since then he has become such a bigger star that that's why he's like, I'm being paid nowhere near the same amount as the guys that I am feuding with,
and the guys that came in after him, right?
Yeah, which is probably accurate. That's almost certainly accurate. However, I cannot imagine that if he went into Tony Khan's office and said, Tony, I would like to sign a contract extension. I would like to sign a new contract which keeps me with this company for another 5 years, that Tony Khan would go, no, I'm not going to give you any extra money. Or if he did say no, he would say, no, but we will give you a new contract at the start of 2023 when you've got a year left on your contract.
Yeah.
Tony Khan doesn't strike me as an idiot.
No,
and I think it would be an idiotic decision if someone like MJF came in and said, I would like a new contract, and Tony Khan went, nah, it's fine. Yeah. We've got Veerma. We've got Satnam Singh. We don't need you.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't see that happening.
No, nor can I. And I think that the one thing we'd really miss out on, as I think a couple of people in the chat have pointed out, if MJF does go to WWE, we'd get some scarf AR. So, maybe that's a reason he should go, because he'd have a scarf that would come out and it would say like MJF on the end of it or something. And maybe it would have a feud with the Snakes from RK Bros entrance, and then like the scarf would hit him or whatever. It'd be really, 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 really bad.
You could bring back Santino Marella and have Scarf against Cobra. Like make it a scarf that you can put your arm into, and then he can. Or like your tie on WWE 2K, where it just does this when you're walking.
Yeah. No, that sounds good. I think that they might change it so that the scarf is the source of his power. So if someone takes the scarf off, then he's like, I can't wrestle anymore. And then he just becomes a complete jobber as soon as the scarf's gone. I think that's
these
fun.
are all
they
good
should
booking.
do that. MJF should join WWE. Why are we even having this conversation? Jesus. We're just giving him the best story in wrestling.
I would like to see him in WWE. I've changed my mind. I want to see Max in WWE NXT 2.0 feuding with I honestly can't name a single one.
Nope.
Zion Quinn.
Yep, that's the one.
That's what I want.
I would say though, one more point before we get into your Ultrachats. Send in your Ultrachats to WrestleTalk.com/support, by the way. Because we'll read out all the ones that are $5 and up by the time the show goes off the air. This is a big if MJF does go to WWE, there is then the possibility of interacting with Cody Rhodes in WWE. And I think that could be quite interesting because of how they started in AEW. Because MJF was Cody's understudy, essentially, at the start. And they had the thing where MJF turned on him. And that was a whole thing that happened. That's one possibility that I think I would be actually excited to see if MJF did go back.
That is interesting, but it is not interesting enough to draw him to the company. And can you imagine how many matches they would have every week on Raw, every pay-per-view for about 6 months, and then they would become best friends?
Not a bad idea. They formed the AEW faction within WWE.
Yeah, exactly. They'd have he would come in, and then I don't know who else is left at AEW. Marco Stunt would join, and then that would be the AEW faction.
Perfect. Yeah, sounds great.
No, one Cody feud is not enough for me to even maybe even slightly interested in seeing that.
No. Well, before we get into your Ultrachats, send those in. WrestleTalk.com/support. Link is in the description and it's on the screen. It's right there. Right there. WrestleTalk.com/support. Send those Ultrachats in if you have thoughts about MJF and whether you want him to stay in AEW or not. But before we talk about that, this video is sponsored by it's the WrestleTalk Magazine, everybody. Look at that.
Whoa.
Wow. Isn't it pretty?
What happens if I read that?
You become super smart about wrestling. That's what happens.
I've always wanted to be super smart about wrestling. Then I could win Quizlemania.
Exactly. I should read more of the WrestleTalk magazine because then maybe I would actually, maybe have a chance at winning Quizlemania, maybe. But we've got a very, very special deal going on right now, which is that you can get the digital version of this magazine for £1. £1, which is so much content. Like it's so many words in the magazine about so many interesting things, and you can get the digital version for just £1. Click the link in the description. Also, there's the monthly awards that some of us do. In this month's one, we've got Ollie and Luke giving their wrestler of the month and their TV match of the month, the TV episode of the month, a notable contribution. All that stuff is some good stuff. It's fun. So yeah, read it. It's some good stuff, and there's some really interesting articles. So please go read it.
Well, I will.
Yeah, thanks, Andy. I'm glad I can count on you.
No worries.
There's a really, really, really in-depth little piece here about how Cody returning to WWE will affect AEW. And like the history of the people jumping brands and like the old Monday Night Wars and stuff like that. It's really, really in depth. There's multiple pages on the thing. It's good. Go read it. Read it.
Made paper, unless it's the digital one.
Unless it's the digital one for £1, in which case it is not paper.
Yeah, so we're saving the environment.
Saving the environment. That's what we do. Anyway. What was I saying? The
Ultrachats.
Nope. For some reason, I had the tab open of us, and then it just started playing for some reason.
Don't worry, I'll fill for time.
It's fine. Ultrachats. Get them in to WrestleTalk.com/support. Last chance. Ding, ding, ding. This was ideally going to be the rest of the show, but I can see that there's about 3 currently. So
yeah, Adam and Denise
maybe
didn't
we'll
get
have
very
to
many
fill
last
for
week,
time.
and me and
No.
Denise didn't get many the week before that. Hey, it's
it's
the start of the second financial quarter.
Yeah.
Everyone's been released by WWE.
Yeah.
They can't afford to send in.
fair.
So I think all of our Ultrachatters are former NXT stars.
It does make sense, yeah.
We can
Send
talk.
them in to
There are some
WrestleTalk.com.
good news stories today which we can talk about.
WrestleTalk.com/support, send those in. On the subject of MJF potentially leaving AEW, Ristofer said, hi, team name pending. If MJF does end up in WWE, are there really any faces you could really see him feud with? No offense to any of the talent there, but I really can't think of any of the current faces in WWE who could hold a candle to him on the mic. I would be really interested in a MJF Big E feud. I think that would be a bunch of fun.
That would be fun. I don't think you need to be able to hold a mic to MJF to. Obviously, you need to be a good promo because otherwise he'll just throw you out the ring. But like, I don't think you need to be MJF can literally tackle that, like take down anyone with words. So as long as the babyface is over enough, no matter in what way, I think it would work. But honestly, I don't know whether I can actually think of a current babyface where I'm like, oh man, I want to see that. Like, Drew is not interesting to me. Well, yes, obviously Cody.
I've got a good one. Something that I think I'd really like to see is MJF versus AJ Styles. I think that's really fun. Not necessarily in terms of promo styles. I just think the feud is fun. I'd be interested to see it.
The AEW community.
That one. That's the one.
Yeah. I think I'm sure he'd have good feuds with anyone with anyone, but I can't think of anyone that makes me go like, oh, I need to see that. Actually, someone's just put Edge. If he was a face, that might be a bit of fun. Kind of veteran who can talk. Yeah. I mean, there's plenty of stuff that MJF would be able to pick on with Edge and stuff. So that could work.
Yeah, that'd be very cool. Sweet Monkey Tuesday said, I just want MJF to sit on the AEW stage in late 2023 and tell a beaten down champion CM Punk that he's going to leave with the belt. Oh, yes. Yes. That's where this is leading to. MJF is going to do a pipe bomb. That's it. We cracked the code. That's
easy.
What this thing is all leading to. MJF is going to have his contract expire, but it's all going to be part of the bigger work that MJF is going to stay, and he's going to legitimately do a pipe bomb on champion CM Punk because he can never let that feud go, and it will be perfect. That's when he's going to win the title. Oh, I love it. And then he kisses Tony Khan, a little kiss goodbye, and runs away through the crowd.
No, he just kisses Tony Khan. That's how it ends. Tony Khan also leaves.
Well, that's good, yeah.
Yeah, they just stop. So Tony Khan and MJF start making out, and then what you don't see is that they've got ropes attached to them, and then they just float off into the sky, and then it just goes fades to black.
You've made me not want to see it anymore, Andy. Thanks,
tell me that wouldn't be gripping. Whoa.
Certainly be something. Yep. We got another one from yesterday's stream that was missed. OGP, yeah, you know me, said LMAO Rampage spoilers with Ollie. I don't know what he spoiled. I didn't listen to the show. It was very, but the show was great. Also, Keith Lee and Swerve are over. Got the loudest pops of the night for their dark match after Rampage against Chaos Project. Lol.
I think Ty Conti and Sammy Guevara do something weird.
Sure.
Which doesn't surprise me. They really like each other.
Yep.
Based on what I've seen.
Yep. Sheldon Jackson says, curious to know which AEW star would you have challenged for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title, and which New Japan star would you have challenged for the TNT title at Forbidden Door based off of the current champions? Great question. I honestly don't know.
Jungle Boy.
Jungle Boy's a great shout.
I'm trying to think of some of the smaller
great
guys.
shout.
Darby Allin, Daniel Garcia,
The TNT.
and who would challenge for the TNT from New Japan?
From New Japan, yeah.
Ishii.
Ishii's fun.
Probably not Kota Ibushi.
I was going to say, if he wasn't injured, I would have said Ibushi. But I think,
yes,
and
injured.
also with all the stuff going on with Ibushi right now, but I think genuinely,
Juice Robinson,
Tanahashi, screw it.
Yeah,
it's like a big title. Screw it. Put him in a big match. It'd be awesome. Have him win it. That'd be awesome.
No disrespect to Scorpio Sky,
Shingo.
but
Shingo's a great shout.
No disrespect to Scorpio Sky, but I feel like by the time that show comes around, all of the champions need to be bigger names. Well, the champions, like obviously Paige or whoever's champion then is fine, but it's like the TNT Championship, I feel like it needs to be a bigger name just for that just for that show, because you don't want like New Japan to be like, here's Hiroshi Tanahashi, and then AEW go, well, here's Scorpio Sky, and it was like, that's fun, but it could have been more exciting, because the whole point, I think, of this is dream matches. And as good as Scorpio Sky is, I don't think anyone's sat there and gone, I need to see him against Tanahashi. That is the match I have to see. So this is the opportunity to do all of those matches that people have always wanted. So, yeah.
CM Punk versus Okada. Do it. Dartrain24 says, can't please Chop when he was put in Team Panisse, I assume? How can you beat that? I don't know. It's asterisked. So I don't know what they said.
Penis.
Sorry. Penis.
Don't worry, I'll fill for
Hannah
time.
Winter. Huh?
Oh, I thought you were feeling I needed to fill for time.
No. I'm just tired. Hannah Winter said, hey, Team Damson and Quince.
Quince? Where does Quince come from?
Team Damson and Quince. Jams near your surnames. Are the names of jam brands? Is that a
Quince?
thing?
Well, you can have Quince jam.
Is that Damson? Is that a jam?
Damson? Well, a quince is like a pear.
Jam that Damson?
Damson. Damson is a plant. Oh, you can get. Oh, it's a kind of plum. There you go.
Well, there you go.
Sorry for looking confused. Because it did make sense. We just didn't know what you were talking about.
Yep, and they said just giving an idea for nicknames. Thank you, Hannah Winter, for that.
Thank you, Hannah.
I think I prefer Chatson, honestly.
Nope.
And I still hate that.
Ass holler. I was really wondering whether I could click Ass Man and holler in quick enough succession so that it would sound like it went ass holler.
I'm an ass holler. Is that what you wanted to do?
Where is holler?
Hey, Andy.
Yeah?
You do know that no one else can hear that, right?
What?
If you play it correctly, how you're envisioning, none of the chat or the live stream can hear that.
Why?
Yeah, why? Because you're just playing a video that you can hear.
Well, so no one else can see Ass Man if I click Ass Man.
Do you know how
I'm an ass man. Yeah, I'm an ass man.
So no one saw that.
Kind of forgot about the back end stuff that's on there.
Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't just gonna. I wasn't watching it on my phone. What did you? I don't understand what you thought. You thought I was just gonna watch it on my phone.
That you were just gonna watch it on your laptop, and I was like, Andy, no one else can hear that. What are you talking about, you numpty?
I can't find Holler. I think actually Holler might just be in Quizzlemania back end.
Well, now we're changing it. Now you've gotten rid of the banner that we had, Andy. All of this for some Holler. We don't want any of this.
I can't find it. All right, I'll go back to what we were doing.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Any more chats?
Brandon's ultra chatted.
Yeah.
To say Chatson, Hollass, Pandy, Quim, Nah, Cetra has claimed Chop Dat, and it's a clear winner. Hashtag support team Chop Dat.
Why? But is that a pun on Chop That?
As in, like, chop that, I assume. But like, chop that.
But is that a thing? It's surely ass Holler.
This is riveting stuff. Sheldon Jackson. Sheldon Jackson said, "Which Impact stars would you put in Chaos, Suzuki-gun, United Empire, and Lij?" Honestly, that's a very long question. That's a lot of different factions.
Wait, what was the question? Which Impact?
Which Impact stars would you put in Chaos, Suzuki-gun, United Empire, and Lij?
You are asking the two worst people you could possibly have asked that question. Yeah. Who's in Impact? AJ Styles, Samoa Joe.
Nope.
Sting.
Nope.
Team 3D. They were in Abyss. Abyss could join Chaos. There you go. Unfortunately, that was a bad question to ask me, but I'm sure the chat will answer it. I don't really watch Impact, I'm afraid, and I don't currently know who's in any of those factions.
Stick Jordan Grace in United Empire.
Yeah.
She's great.
She is great.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's what I'd say. There's my answer.
I agree.
Yep. Anyway, I think that's it.
Well, we could talk about some news. I mean, there's some big news stories this morning, like Candice LeRae.
Hit me with it, Andy. What's happening?
So while there hasn't been any official word from Tony Khan, apparently higher ups or I can't remember exactly what they called them, but higher ups in AEW are very keen on signing Candice LeRae.
I'm not surprised. She's great.
She is great. And I think, while, again, I think salty people would probably be like, oh, she's only been on NXT. She didn't even win the championship on there. She's a lot better, I think, than she was ever allowed to be on NXT. So any boost or any reason for AEW to give more time to their women's division, maybe to put 2 matches on a Dynamite, and to just keep making that women's division a bit more experienced, because they've got some good wrestlers still. They've got loads of good wrestlers, but it is still a very young women's roster in general, or quite an inexperienced women's roster in general. Like even a lot of the really good ones are still very inexperienced. So someone like Candice LeRae, who's been around for a long time, could even do the sort of Daniel Bryan role, which is wrestling, but also coaching and also being a mentor for younger people. So yes, Tony Khan may sign every NXT reject woman, but I don't think she can be classed as a reject woman. And also, if you can see potential in someone, for example, Ty Conti, who, yes, her storyline's a bit weird right now, but has improved a lot since leaving WWE, then why not give him a go?
And I think having Candice in AEW is perfect. Perfect fit for me. I think she's fantastic. She would help the women's division. She would put on banging matches, and she would give people more reason to tune in and watch more women's wrestling on AEW, which AEW sorely needs. It doesn't need better women. It needs more people to be interested in their women's division, which means they need more characters. They need better booking. If you can give them a reason to give better booking.
What if she is the women's Joker and Johnny Gargano is the men's Joker?
That's really fun. I would dig that a lot.
And then they can have a mixed tag feud with Sammy Guevara and Tay Conti about who can get more weird on TV. No, but seriously, that's
Not do that one.
No.
No, I'm not into that story. I'll be honest.
Who else do you think it could be in terms of just like? Do you think it could be
The Jokers?
Do you think it's going to be a debuting star, or do you think it's going to be a returning from injury person, or I don't know, someone we've seen before, or a New Japan star?
One of the above, for sure. I don't think it's just going to be someone we see on AEW regularly. It's going to be a special attraction, whether that's going to be like a one-off appearance from, a big independent star, or it's going to be a New Japan star, or someone returning from injury, or whatever. Something it will be like that. I would like to see. So the Joker's facing Samoa Joe first, right?
Yeah.
In the men's one. And Samoa Joe's going to lose that match because of distraction from Jay Lethal, etc. I would assume. So I think.
Well, it should. If that's true, then that'll be a heel, surely, because you can't have Johnny Gargano come in and win via.
Oh yeah. But then you could also just have someone who just like comes in, they have a good babyface versus babyface match that just gets hijacked by the heels. I don't know, man. I'd love to see it be a Gargano, honestly. Or Claudio Cesaro.
Yeah.
Would be really cool. You guys each tell us a fear you have.
Failure.
Pretty good fear.
What about you?
Not knowing what to talk about on a WrestleTalk podcast episode.
Yeah.
Pretty big fear.
Imagine if this was Denise.
Oh,
you'd got 5 minutes and then you'd gone, well, that's all, folks.
There we go. Anyway, tell you what, Andy, let's just do this last Ultra Chat that's come in, and then we're just going to wrap up the show. Meng says, I'll bet you good Louis Dangor money, not mine, that this is the biggest work in wrestling, and come 2024, we will get the summer of MJF, beat Punk for the title in Long Island, leave and come back to unify the title against, I don't know, Wardlow. I like it. I don't know about the Wardlow bit, but I like the feuding with Punk, taking the title, summer of MJF. Big fan of all that. Miro, that's who the Joker's going to be. Good call, chat.
I would like Miro because he works as a heel as well.
And Miro versus Samoa Joe.
Yeah. And then Lana will be the women's Joker.
Less into that.
Fine. Someone else good. Eva Marie.
Will Campbell says, hi guys, speaking of MJF, I was at the show on Wednesday, and even though I usually boo the hell out of him, I couldn't help but get swept up in cheering for him as a Long Island guy. Also, if the MJF pipe bomb happens, it needs to happen at UBS Arena. I agree. That'd be very, very cool if that does happen. That'd be really awesome.
Sleepy Pete.
And very. Robert Waters says, returning Kenny Omega to face Joe. I don't think Kenny is cleared yet. I think he still had a lot.
And that's a waste of his return as well.
Also agree that he should not return there.
Kenny needs to return in a big moment for, well, to kind of to face square off against Hangman again, or
Adam Cole,
title,
or some sort of,
or return for the New Japan. I mean, not having Kenny Omega on the New Japan show would seem like a very silly idea. So I imagine he'll either return there as like we don't know who's coming back, but everyone secretly really knows who's coming back because obviously, or have him return just before that to set up a match with probably not Okada yet. Like they can build to that, but I don't know, Shingo Takagi.
I would like it if you had New Japan person will be facing mystery opponent. It comes back and it's Kenny, and then Kenny has a stare down with someone from New Japan to set up like a really big future match. It doesn't need to be a huge match for Kenny for like a big return or something, but something that could then set up a bigger one later, I think would be very, very cool.
Yeah.
But I think that is going to do it for the Ultra Chats for this episode, and I think that is going to do it for this episode. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Sorry about the ramshackle nature of the show. It went through a lot of changes, including the entire lineup. So thank you for your patience. Really do appreciate it. If you haven't yet, subscribe, like the video. Also, go watch some other WrestleTalk podcast videos. We have a very cool AEW Dynamite review that went up yesterday. Tomorrow is going to be myself and Angela from Hobby Night who are going to be reviewing SmackDown and Rampage, which will be really cool. So I'm excited for that. So subscribe and stay tuned for that one. We've got a load more content coming up soon. Stay tuned. Yay. Fun. Wrestling. It never stops. So yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. Love you very much. Stay safe. Goodbye. Goodbye.